you think about the guys that are playing the game now. I don't think our numbers won't. They'll flirt with them, but they're not going to reach them because of the longevity. They don't know how to take care of their bodies. That's something I think we brought to the game. And you think about the number of years that you played, the number of years that I played. I honestly wouldn't have been able to put up the numbers that I did if it wasn't for me taking care of my body and things of that nature. So again, like I said, your question about why, I have no idea.
Like, you know what? I can answer that probably better than T, because I know T better than he knows himself. But T doesn't love football like Randy does. It's like you guys have again, both of y'all been, very close friends for 20 plus years of mine. So it's funny, you guys are so similar, but when you're not similar, you guys are total opposites. Right, because again, Randy will sit there on a day and he'll watch 3 college football games in a row, sometimes 4. I hit T, hey, you see the game? What game? He don't even know that Clemson played Alabama on a certain day. Certain games he'll go to, but like it's funny how you guys are just total opposites. And I remember I was telling you, I was doing an interview once, and I was just like, on the field, right? You have this boisterous, character, and then off the field you have a subdued and quiet. That's T.O. Moss is quiet on the field, but off the field, Randy's a little chatterbox.
Yeah, I'm a little wild, a little crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So you guys, again, where you guys are similar is really, in football. And again, I want to tell the fans, like I said, on Getcha Popcorn Ready podcast here with Randy Moss, we're talking about these numbers between T.O. and Randy Moss are so similar. Receiving touchdowns, right? Moss, you had 156. T.O., you had 153. Receiving yards, you had 1,592. Moss to T.O.'s 1,934. Receptions, 1,078 to 982. Like that's almost close as the election was. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to stuff off the field, and you guys really go the opposite way. But like T.O. said, it ain't too late. We might be able to get a camp or something, over these next couple of years, because you guys being your career paths, again, that 02 to about 08, 09, that was like watching the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, the Jordan versus the Pistons. That's what it was like watching. Unfortunately, we didn't have social media back then.
And I'm glad.
Besides, Moss, you would have went to jail, and T.O. would have been a hooker. I guarantee it. So, but if you guys would have had social media, I think you guys would have been more like D. Hopkins and Julio Jones, because you guys would have been going back and forth. You guys would have had a relationship via Twitter and social media, saying, like you said, Moss, hey, I got you today. And then T.O. would have came back, well, I got 4. And you would have came back, well, you know what I'm saying? But you guys didn't have that opportunity. Because, and how the seasons are for players. Like, we leave that stadium, we go home, we're with our loved ones. We're not really going to contact the other person. But in today's world, soon as you'll be watching the game, it's 3 minutes after the game, and you'll see a player tweeting already. You know what I'm saying?
Game. Yeah, good game.
Yeah. So I think y'all's relationship would have been definitely something for the world to watch evolve if social media was available in today's game for you two especially.
Yeah, and I think just to, piggyback on what Hat said, I think Randy, what you don't know about me is that I never thought I would play beyond the collegiate level. Obviously, we played in the Southern Conference. But I never thought I would play beyond the collegiate level.
And just, ladies and gentlemen, that's the Southern Conference, not the Southeast Conference. That's not the SEC.
Yeah, no, it's the SEC. Yeah. True. So my, again, like I said, my love for football, I just didn't have that love and affection for football. Like I said, I'm not finna sit around and watch games, all day. Like even now, even over the years, I mean, I don't even really watch football like that unless, like I said, it's a particular game, or like I said, I'll catch some highlights or what have you, or I have guys, like Julio Jones and like D Hop, I'll catch some of those highlights or what have you. But like even D Hop over the weekend, I mean, I was out of the country, but I didn't even really pay attention to what was going on because I had people texting me like, yo, did you see that catch? And to Hash's point, I said, what catch?
Right?
Yeah.
And me and Moss was on Twitter going off.
Going off.
So somebody asked me that. I'm like, what? I'm like, what catch? Yeah. And then, bro, I had to go find on Instagram, go ask somebody what the hoopla was about or what have you. But yeah, that's just me. I've never really had that love for football like that, but I was competitive. When you talk about competitive juices, that's what drove me. That's what inspired me when I played or when we played. So, for you, Randy, like I said, you were so dynamic. Like I said, I wasn't on your level, you know what I mean? And as the season progressed, I wasn't one of those guys that, honestly, I didn't keep up with stats. I mean, yeah, if I'm watching TV and it crossed the ticker or whatever, you see the games being played throughout the course of the day. You see the wins, you start seeing the quarterback statistics, what they threw for interception. Then obviously the receivers, they come through. You always see what they've done throughout the course of the day. I just saw it and I'm like, okay, I see what he did, but it didn't really drive me. Like I said, I didn't go to jail for Steve Young or any of my quarterbacks. I'm like, yo, did you see what Randy did? So that was funny that you went to Tom, and then Tom was like, I wish I had a quarterback like that. Mm-hmm. I honestly did. If I had some quarterbacks with that type of drive, but they weren't wired like me. You know what I mean? So it was everything that I did. Trust me, I owe it all to my receiver coaches. Bro, they're the ones that inspired me to do the things that I did, and they pushed me, and then they molded me, and they groomed me to become the receiver that I did. So, man, like I said, it was a blessing. Honestly, just like I said, every team that I went to, from San Fran to Philly to Dallas, like I said, it wasn't really about what you guys did. It was more about what I could do, and my focus on what I could do for my team. But like I said, if it put me in a position to, like I said, have you step your game up every week, then, hey, we all motivated each other. And we inspired each other from afar. But like I said, I saw it. But like I said, it wasn't one of those things like, okay, I'm going to try to outplay. I'm going to try to outdo Randy, because I knew my situation was a little bit different than yours. Like my quarterback, like I said, we had more rollout type of game. I didn't have the type of quarterbacks that you did, like throw 60, 70 yards down the field. I wish I had that. I didn't get that till I got to the Philadelphia Eagles with Donovan McNabb. Then I could Then people saw me take the top off the shit. You know what I mean? But with you started, man. You were doing that from the jump. So I was like, man, this dude right here. Like I said, it was nothing but love. It was nothing but respect. All I could do was just handle what I could handle and work with the quarterbacks that I work with. But like I said, you had guys. You had Jeff George. I mean, you had all these guys, Dante Culpepper.
Yeah.
Bro, it was obvious. Like I said, it was not a weekend that I didn't expect to see you go over the top or just mossing people every weekend. That was to be expected.